I don't root at all. If the Niners win or lose, it doesn't matter. I still maintain a professional distance. But I want to say I was deeply moved by how Jimmy Garoppolo played against the Packers, and I was emotionally touched by it. So, and I know probably you think I'm crazy for saying this, but let me talk a little about it. Iggy and I were both English majors. He was at UCLA. I was at Little Lafayette College in Pennsylvania. And then I came to Stanford and the graduate school in the English department. So we're all in as literary critics. When I look at a game, any kind of game that I used to cover, and I believe Iggy feels the same way, it's not just a game. We look at it as literary critics, it's a play, like a play you would see on Broadway. It has all the Aristotelian unities. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It has a problem. Who's going to win? It has suspense. You don't know. It has a resolution at the end. There's someone wins, someone loses. Sometimes there's a tie. There's a resolution. In this game, I looked at Jimmy as the main character in the drama. I understand there are a million other ways to look at it. You could look at any other player. For me, I sort of identified with him and looked at him as the protagonist, a protagonist trying to be a hero. So I want to talk about, was he a hero in this game? A hero is a wonderful concept. Okay. In my way of understanding a hero, I'm going to use he because we're talking about male football players. A woman could be a hero too. In this game, he wanted to be a hero, but what stood between him and heroism was himself, because he's not good enough. Iggy and I both think he's like a C quarterback. We call him serviceable. He can do some things very well. He can't play down the field. He limits the offense that Shanahan can use. But also he had to overcome his own limitations, his own failures, his own mistakes. But he had to I'm looking at my notes, overcome other things. His coach's bad calls, the team's bad play, sometimes the good play of the Packers, and the fact that life is very tough in real life and on a football field. And then here's the thing. He had scored nothing. He and the offense had scored nothing in the first half. They fell down 17-0, but they began to come back and they scored a touchdown before the second half ended. What I saw was a guy on a journey. His journey is, I want to win. I want to win for the team, and I want to win for me, and I want to overcome all the obstacles, mostly me. I want to overcome who I am. I see that as a very heroic kind of thing to do. Okay, in the comeback, he showed courage, bravery, persistence, and if you look at this as a story, he showed pureness of heart. He had one intention: to win. And here's the thing, he did win. In spite of everything bad he did, in spite of the fact that he's not that good, he handed the team a victory. That growth, what he did in the game, I find beautiful. He handed the team a victory with only 37 seconds left, and this team having no timeouts. At that moment, he became the hero he had wanted to be. And then the team gave it away. In terms of a story, it's what makes it so poignant, because in a sense, they betrayed him. Now, of course, they lost. I'm looking at it from his point of view. They betrayed him. And he, at that moment, it became serious. He went from being a hero to a tragic hero. And I love that game for that reason. That's it, Iggy.
I love that. That was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for doing that, Dan.
You like that?
Great. I did. I loved it. And I love the perspective you took. Can I take a different perspective real quick, just to add to it? Because I see the tragic hero in him. I definitely think it was a tragic, heroic game. But I think there's an irony to it. I don't think he could overcome himself the way I see it. Now, he did have that great drive. It was heroic. That drive was heroic. No question about it. Until he snapped the ball with 12 seconds left on the play clock. I guess, how do you know, like, we're going to need these seconds, but we're going to score on this play, and if we snapped it at 3, it'd be so much better than if we snapped it at 12, but 9 seconds is probably the difference in the game.
Oh.
That's almost like bitter irony, a small thing like that, but that wasn't his big mistake. The irony here is that his 2 mistakes were the 2 turnovers. He had an interception and a fumble. The fumble he threw backwards. That was rough. And what was nice was the team picked him up. They only gave up 3 points off those turnovers. So while the defense was the ultimate GOAT, when Jimmy messed up, they had his back. And the bitter irony is, even though they only gave up 3 points off those 2 turnovers, they lost by 2. So they lost on that last field goal, but they could have lost on the field goal earlier, So it was a heroic drive. It was very heroic. It was also tragic in a sense, because I don't think he could overcome himself against Aaron Rodgers. It was too much.
I love it. I love
that. That was a lot of fun, Dad.
Also, I love what you're saying about irony. And I would add one other thing. People look at these games and they're just games.
Yeah.
When Iggy and I look at them, they're deep. Iggy, aside from the fact that we saw it differently, we both saw it as deep.
But we were using the same metaphors and speaking the same language. And that's why I always wanted to do a podcast with you, because I always felt our sports conversations were the most interesting and the most unique, but I needed to rise to the level of you. It couldn't just be me riding your coattails, because I already get enough nepotism accusations as it is. But now that we do it, I'm glad that people get to listen, because it's always, I didn't agree with a lot of what you're saying, but I was like, man, this is just so phenomenal, and I love it, and it's compelling, and I can try to put my perspective on it using his terminology, but it was damn heroic. And that last drive, really, in sports, if you struggle in the first 3 quarters and come through at the end, who cares about the first 3 quarters? So Jimmy he'll always have that last drive. It was great.
Thank you for letting me do that.
Thank you for doing that. That was great. Let's answer a few more questions and get back to our stuff. Sure. Darnay says, I fall back on Collinsworth's statement about Jimmy saying the offense being simplified for Lance on Monday night. See, these are things I didn't hear. I'm not listening to the TV.
They did say that.
What did he say?
He said that this is Collinsworth, that they had to simplify the offense somewhat for Trey Lance, and that Jimmy said thank you, because it helped him as well. He did. That's what Collinsworth said.
That's very interesting. Huh. Interesting. Helped him as well. Overly complicated. Christopher says, so all of the rookie quarterbacks not doing so good. Maybe Kyle is doing the right thing. That's how you feel, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Okay. Alex, thank you. It just gives us $10. That's very nice of you.
Thank you.
Yes. I think there's a couple more. T Breezy says, what successful NFL quarterback has Kyle developed? He has no experience developing a quarterback. He would never know when Trey is ready. I agree with that.
Well, we simply don't know the answer to that. You can't say in the affirmative because he hasn't done it.
I love the end of his sentence. He would never know when Trey is ready. Yeah. Who the hell is Kyle to make that assessment? When I say so. Tony says, if Saleh goes 0-17, what are the chances he gets fired and rejoins the Niners? Seems like he and Kyle need each other.
I was thinking that myself.
Yeah. Defensive coaches who start off slow don't necessarily get a long leash. Because look, let's say he goes 4-13 or whatever, and the quarterback looks awful. Maybe the ownership says, we need to get an offensive coach. We're invested in this quarterback. That always happens.
Iggy, I have a question before you move on.
Yes.
And it was in the DeMeco Ryans part, and I forgot to mention it. I was watching 4 games on Sunday, and I noticed that one of the teams, the defensive coordinator, is Dan Quinn.
Yes, that's the Cowboys. That was last night.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Kyle worked for Dan Quinn and went to the Super Bowl. Would he have been a better choice as defensive coordinator than DeMeco Ryans?
Well, I have to say, he's experienced. He did a good job last night. He just totally – DeMeco did a good job against the Eagles too, to be fair. But, I think so. And then you got like McVay. He lost his coordinator this year. He became the Chargers head coach. He got Raheem Morris, who's been a defensive coordinator for a long time and a head coach. Got an experienced guy for an experienced team.
Yeah.
Kind of strange.
Anyway, it crossed my mind.
Yeah, good point. Jake says, why do we run behind Brunskill and McGlinchey? We ran to the right 11 times for 11 yards, ran left 4 times for 17 yards with two 1-yard TDs. That's great. That's quality control right there, Jake. They should have people up there in the games charting this stuff. I'm surprised. What is going on? It's interesting. They lost Mike LaFleur to the Jets, promoted Mike McDaniel from run game coordinator to offensive coordinator, and all of a sudden the offense looks like terrible. The last 2 games are averaging 4.6 yards per play, which is like worse than the Jim Tom Sula era. It's so bad. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know, Kyle. Figure it out. That's a Kyle thing. Running game's not working. Couple more. Couple more. Okay. John's George says, Grant, did you read about the article on SB Nation about Jimmy being bottom of a quarterback list, including Goff on metrics such as big time throws and turnover worthy throws? Yeah, I did see that. There was a spectrum of big time throws, turnover worthy throws. Because the idea is the more you try to make big time throws, the more you turn the ball over. And Jimmy is like no big time throws and turnovers, while other people have lots of big time throws. And yeah, I've seen it. Good call, John. Yep. Lowell, a true Renaissance man. Oh yeah, absolutely. And he can cook too.
Thank you. No, I can't.
He can make. Me and him can both make the pasta sauce though.
We can together when he tells me what to do.
Can we have can we have Lowell give an essay summary of each game?
Don't
give him homework.
Don't give me homework. And the thing is, I was just touched.
Yeah.
I was just touched by Jimmy on Sunday. I want to say something. I've never met him. You know, I like his face. I don't mean he's handsome. He's very handsome, Iggy. I don't mean that. He seems like such an innocent guy. Now, look, who knows what he's like? But in that game, I just felt he had pureness of heart. I looked at him. I felt that.
I guess he doesn't have that like maniacal obsession that you need to be great.
Yeah.
But that's never really like Aaron Rodgers has it. No one likes him. Tom Brady has it. He's weird. Jimmy Garoppolo, like he seems like he really likes being a multi-million-dollar quarterback. Who wouldn't? He enjoys life, doesn't take himself too seriously, doesn't have a big ego, allows everyone else on the team to be a star, and is happy. He's not Tom Brady, and he probably isn't worth the money he makes, but it's hard to knock him for being a good guy who doesn't take himself too seriously.
Yeah.
And enjoys the life he has. I would too. I make about 100th of what he makes, and I really freaking enjoy my life. So good for him.
Iggy, there are certain people on that team that I would like to have covered.
Yes.
It doesn't mean I want to be their friend because I was never their friends. Like to have covered. Kyle. Jimmy.
Yeah.
Fred
Warner.
Yeah. Wouldn't you like to cover him?
Yeah, I do.
Number 1, Jimmy Ward.
Yeah, he's the best.
Juszczyk.
You would love Juszczyk. He's so bright. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have a lot of fun. And I'm sure there are others.